Welcome to the Light Leaders Podcast, where I'll show you how to step into the light leader that you were born to be. If you're wanting to align with your soul purpose, activate your psychic abilities, and to create an impactful and abundant business, you're in the right place. My name is Athena Bailey, and I'm a trance channeler, a kinesiologist, and a business coach. And I'm here to remind you of the divinity you have within you, the soul purpose that guides you through life, and how through your business you can create the huge spiritual shift into 5D that we're all here for. In this podcast, you'll receive spiritual teachings for your business, manifestation techniques to quantum leap, channelings with energetic activations, and tried and tested business strategies specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs. If you're ready to kickstart your ascension and align with your higher self, let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Light Leaders. Today we are talking about selling, sales, and doing that from a really soul-aligned heart space, which I think for most entrepreneurs and business owners who are selling and having not a fun time with it, if you're kind of going, it feels gross, it feels a bit cringy, I don't love it, it's usually because the selling isn't done in alignment, right? When we talk about selling, there's really two different ways to sell. We have the old school selling, which, it is a bit cringy. It is cold calling, cold pitching. It feels icky. It leaves both parties, feels kind of gross. And there's a real energy of trying to disempower the person you're selling to. So what you'll often see with old school marketing techniques is that they're like pointing out what's bad about the person or really inviting them to go into their struggle, to go into their pain, to go into their trauma. And they're like, can you see how awful this is? And the person's like, oh my God, yeah, I feel really awful right now. I want out of this space. And so they invest in from that place, right? And so it's literally like the intention with old school marketing is connect to your pain and sell. It can be very disempowering and it doesn't feel good for anyone involved, right? But selling can be an experience that both you and the person you're selling to enjoy. We have soul-aligned selling. And soul-aligned selling, we're moving away from chasing clients because that's, let's not do that. Let's not cold call. Let's not cold pitch. Let's not randomly DM people we don't know and sell ourselves to it. Let's actually show up, sell our services, speak from a place of truth, share our soul purpose and our soul message, and build relationships with our audience. What happens when you show up authentically and in alignment with is you magnetize your soul clients to you. And then they're actually wanting to be sold to. They're excited to jump on a sales call with you and they're like, what's next? How can you help me? And you're talking about the transformation you can give them. You're talking about this is where this work can take you. This is what it can do for you. And you're moving away from this is like how bad it is for you right now and more into this is a transformation we can facilitate. And especially when I'm working for my high-end clients, their pain points, they're not super painful, right? I understand that for some of you, you're working with clients who might be very distressed, very anxious, maybe they're in a lot of pain. And so that is something relevant to you. But for a lot of us, not all of our clients are in a lot of pain. My high-end clients, they're usually doing pretty good. Their business is going good, but they just want that next level. They really want to, the next thing, and to get themselves really established and to scale their business. So they're not so focused on the pain part of it. And the thing about it is it makes the sales experience a lot more pleasant. Now, that's not to say they won't have a pain point. Everybody has a pain point, but the pain point allows us to identify where they're at and speak to that. We don't have to place them back into the pain. And that's what old school marketing does. And it doesn't really feel good for anyone involved. So we're focused on this new marketing, right? The new selling, not the old school techniques. And the old school techniques, they really come from this place of door knocking salesman, I feel like. And it's funny because I actually used to do that. Yeah, I know, right? It's quite unbelievable. But literally after I finished school, I was fresh out of school, and I really wanted to go to Switzerland, right? And I did. I went to stay with my family in France, and then I went and worked in Switzerland and had like a nice gap year abroad. But I was saving up and I was having a really hard time making money. And so I was just desperate for a job anywhere that would take me, like after I finished school. And so I did find a company who was selling products door to door. And I thought, you know what, maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'll like it. And when I kind of read about it, it didn't sound great, but I was like, but it's money. Okay, so you know what? I'll just give it a shot. I lasted for a grand total of one day and made a grand total of 0 sales, and I hated it. Like, I truly hated it. I remember on the first day, it was probably around the middle of the day, I was soaking wet from the rain. I was sitting on the roadside curb on the pavement. I was crying because I had been rejected over 50 times. I had the door slammed in my face. I had people being rude, and I felt awful, right? Like, being an empath, I was so sensitive to that. And I just remember thinking to myself, God, this is awful. Why would anybody want to be in sales? Why would anybody want to sell anything for a living? And I just remember having this feeling like selling is a really awful thing. I feel so gross doing it, and I'm way too sensitive for it empathically. Like, I'm way too sensitive for this kind of rejection, right? And I just stopped immediately. Like, that was not the thing for me. For one day, I was a door-to-door salesman at 18, and it was not for me, right? But it's funny because now I sell a lot. Like, I am selling on a daily basis. I do sales calls all the time. I'm selling my products and my services literally multiple times a day. I actually have like a post-it note on my wall, and it says, did I sell? You know, as that reminder, because I think it's one of the most important things for us to be doing in our business. And I find that a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and light leaders, they forget to sell. You know, they've got this amazing offering, but they're not showing up and actually selling it. And so I think it is really important. And so I'm doing all this selling, and I love it. Like, it's really, really enjoyable for me. It's a process that I love because I'm helping and I'm supporting my clients, my students, get what they want out of life, you know. And I believe in what I'm offering. I can see the transformation. I'm really excited by it. And so, of course, I'm 100% energetically behind it. So speaking about it, selling it is really easy. And, you know, for the life of me, I've never chased a client or cold pitched anyone, right? I show up. I share my soul message. I share my content. I create events. I put myself out there, and by holding that space and sharing my voice, sharing my message, I'm attracting my ideal clients, my soulmate clients, to me. So rather than me chasing them, which is that masculine dynamic that we want to move away from, actually lean back and receive them, and they show up in my space. They're reaching out to me. They're booking the sales calls. I would never in my life dream of convincing someone to work for me, right? Like, that is, that's off the table. Convincing someone to sell to you is not a thing. Someone either wants to work with you or doesn't. Sure, they might have objections, they might have fears, and that's our job to kind of say, well, do you want this? Okay, well, what's the fear? Can we work through that if you truly want this and know that it's right for you? But I would never try and convince someone that it's right for them. My ideal clients know. They show up to the sales call and they're saying, God, I want to work for you. Like, pretty much all my ideal clients, they've shown up for the sales call and said, yep, I'm good. Like, we don't need to talk. I'm ready to buy. How do I do it? Right? There's no convincing aspect. And if you're finding yourself having to convince people, they're not the right client for you, and it means you haven't been showing up in that soul-aligned way online and speaking your truth, speaking your message, because that's when you draw in your soulmate clients and they respond to you, right? So I want to touch base on a little bit of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're selling and when you're showing up online.
And selling means we're inviting people to buy from us, right? And so that's something that you want to be doing every single day online in some way. You want to actually be inviting people to buy from you. And it might be very gently, or you might do a whole live stream about your product and who it's a fit for. But we want to be inviting people to buy from us daily. And I believe, in my opinion, the most important part of selling, and if you've done my soul aligned offering workshop, you'll know that it's also the most important part of creating an offering, is a transformation. What transformation are you facilitating for your soulmate client? Where are you actually taking them? How are you changing your life? That is the most important part of selling, in my opinion, because if you can speak to that, that's what draws people in, and they go, oh yes, I want this. I want that end result. I want that goal. And then the second part, if you can identify what they're struggling, what they need, what they want, so really getting to know your soulmate client. I know my soulmate clients really intimately well. Like a couple of years ago, I sat down and I really mapped out my client journey, and I was like, this is who they are when they come to work with me. This is where they are when they leave working with me, and these are the phases in between. And I literally have this huge Excel sheet where I've got this is what's keeping them at night. This is what they want. This is what's going on in their energy field at this stage. This is what they're most needing help with. This is what they think they want, but this is actually what they need. And literally just all these different elements of the phases that my soulmate clients moves through whilst working with me. And so what that means is when someone hops on a call with me and they're a soulmate client, they really resonate with my content. I already know what's going on for them. I know what they need. I know what they want. And I've done it before. I've facilitated the transformation for others so many times that thereafter, it's really easy to then speak to that as well. And that's why we want to have references and social proof. Because if you're kind of new online and you look at, we really want to have some sort of, let's move more to marketing speak here, know, like, trust, and authority, right? And they're two different things. So, and they fall into each other because they're quite similar, but essentially know, like, trust, that's a relationship that they have with us, right? They know us, they like us, they trust us. Because the reason someone isn't buying from us, if they're like, yep, this is right for me, I really like the sound of it, but they're not buying, oftentimes they will say it's financial, and sometimes it is. Or they might say, oh, I don't have enough time, it's not a priority. What it 99% of the time comes down to, the reason why they won't convert into the sale is because they don't trust you, or they don't trust themselves. But it comes down to trust. They're not trusting that you can facilitate the transformation, and they don't trust themselves to get that transformation, maybe to show up and do the work. And it's really good in sales calls to kind of just tune into this, if they are going, oh, well, it sounds really great, I love it, it's for me, but it's a lot of money. And when that comes up, I don't get a lot of money objections because people know my pricing on my website. But on the off chance that I do get it, I ask them, well, money aside, is this the right thing for you? Is this the right course, container, program for you? And if they say, yes, it's for me, I love it, but it's purely financial, then I say, okay, but do you trust yourself to get the results? Do you trust yourself to show up? Because I know I'm going to show up 100% for you to facilitate this transformation. And we really lean into the trust that's there, right? Because if you knew 100% that what you were signing up for was going to get you the results, you would buy it, right? So I'm thinking of all those wealth and money courses we see online. If you knew 100% that one of those courses was without a doubt going to 10 times your income, obviously we're going to find the money for it, right? Because we know it, we trust it. And that's the energy that we want to bring with our clients when they're signing up for our offering. We want to reassure them and show them you are going to get the results, and we want them to trust it. Because if they don't trust it, they're not as likely to convert, right? And so here, if the trust in themselves, like they're not sure if they can show up, prioritize it, make it happen, that's where you might do some coaching and say, okay, well, why is it not as important for you? Or what else is coming up for you around that? But if it's on you, they don't trust that you can facilitate the transformation, then it's time to have a look at your know, like, trust and your authority, right? So know, like, trust, they know you, they like you, they trust you. That's a factor that we want to build into our entire business. That's very obvious. It's very out there, right? So know, like, trust is how they build their relationship with you. And so the know, like, trust factor is something that I've worked a lot with for my clients, because I think it's very important, especially if you're at the start of your business or you're doing, quite high-end packages, like we're talking over $5,000, $10,000. So the know, like, trust factor, I've created 4 pillars that stem from this know, like, trust factor, and they are really crucial to ensuring that you're actually converting the sales, right? This is what's going to build a relationship, and your clients are going to hop on your sales calls and be like, yes, I trust you, I'm ready to invest in you, and I'm ready to facilitate the transformation. Because at the end of the day, all we want to do is we want to show up and serve. We want to help people. We want to transform their lives. We want to do what we were put here to do, and we want to do it in a way that we're going to be compensated for. And if you can't sell, you can't do your purpose work. Like, it is straight up that clear. For you to do your purpose work, you need to know how to sell, and you need to be excited about your offering. My clients that, they're not excited about selling their offering, they're not excited to hop on sales calls, I get them to sit down and write out before their sales call, how is your offer going to change your client's life? How is it going to transform, their relationships, their money, their relationship to their body, their business? How is it going to transform their partner's life, their parents, their children's lives? How is it going to transform the world? And literally get you into a place where you're like, oh my God, this is absolutely going to transform every part of their life and everyone that they know. I have to get this out into the world. And that's the energy we want to approach our sales call, right? Because when we're not selling, it's almost selfish, because you're literally holding back the gift that you're here to give. You're holding back the essence, the soul mission, the soul purpose of the work that you're here to share with the world. And you're being selfish because you're not talking about it. You're not offering people this amazing transformation that you can provide. And so selling is your way of sharing and getting that transformation out into the world, right? And so I'm going to invite you to start sharing that. And when it comes to those sales goals, coming back to the know, like, trust factor, because I got a bit, when it got a bit distracted there. So coming back to that know, like, trust factor, we're talking about 4 pillars, right? That convert their sales calls, because when we show up, we're excited and we're still not converting, it's because they're not trusting you. So that's when we want to lean into these 4 pillars. The first one being authority. Authority is how we show up as someone who is really knows what we're talking about, essentially. Like, we have done this for a while, we've facilitated transformations. And so how we can establish our authority online, one of the great ways is building your own brand systems, actually having trademark systems and offerings, giving your ideas names and frameworks, right? So maybe you have a methodology and you actually give that a name. Connecting with other authorities, so that might be like you do a podcast together or you attend summits, and you can really identify their pain points and their desires as well. And to be an authority, you need to have like a clear audience that you're serving. Next pillar is social proof. So that's when we're talking about there's an actual social proof that you can facilitate this transformation. That comes from testimonials, case studies, guest bloggings, media appearances, your following, and an engaged audience, right? Because even if you have the world's most fantastic offer, you're super confident, you're selling it online, but you don't have a single testimonial, you've never been featured anywhere, you have a tiny audience, and like they don't care about you, that's going to be really hard to convert, right? So we want to nurture that from the get-go. And pretty much all my clients, when they start working with me, if they don't have testimonials, that's the first thing I make them to go out and get. And I say, actually just do free sessions in exchange for testimonials till you've got about 5, because they are so crucial to have under your belt. The next pillar is connection, right? So this is a great way to build that relationship, because we want to share the brand story, sharing behind the scenes of your story, sharing your why consistently. And I think that's especially so important for us light leaders, because we're sharing why we do what we do. We're sharing our purpose work, and people connect to that. And of course, Simon Sinek is the one to look into for start with why. That's his big thing. And, we can reference back to that, why we should lead with why. He's got a great TED talk about that. If you Google it, it'll come up. You want to share proof that you're embodying your work and proof of success in your own life. So, obviously, if you're a health coach of some sort or wellness coaching, you want to share the different processes that you're doing. If you're telling your clients, go do your oil pulling in the morning and then follow up with a 20-minute meditation, show your audience that that's what you're doing too, right? So actually share the connection. And then value, the last pillar. We want to provide high value freebies and actually really good transformational free content. So that means that people can get a mini transformation from working with you for free. And that's really powerful. If you go onto my Facebook group, New Paradigm of Lightworkers, and you scroll through the free trainings, you can look in the comments on some of the video trainings I do, and you will see people saying oh my God, I had this massive realization, or this thing shifted for me. I'm crying because I've just realized this. On every single video, you'll see one of them. So I'm facilitating free transformations. And so those people, they go, wow, I get this for free. What's paying for this actually going to be like? So it gives them a taste what there is to it. So with this trust, you're building a really strong relationship, and you're building that trust. And trust is what converts, that's a crucial part between them saying, your offer sounds really good. I can see that you're energetically behind it and excited by it and the transformation, and you're speaking to me, but I'm not 100% sure that I trust you. That's why we want our back end, all the content, everything we do to facilitate essentially that trust. So I hope this has given you some cut. So with this now, it's really important that you actually show up and sell. So if you have this amazing offering, right now, get a pen, get a paper, and write how the fuck this offering is going to transform your clients' lives, right? Literally write it out, how it's going to be transformational for them, for everyone they know, how much better their life is going to be because of it. Get so excited, get so energetically behind it, show up and start to sell. Start to talk about your offering, get on a live stream, say, this is why you got to work with me. If, this is what you're going through, this is the result you want, talk to that transformation and start selling. Because I know if you are listening to this, you have a soul purpose, you have a soul mission, and you have a message that the world needs to hear. Right? You have soul gifts that you have been given so that you can facilitate the transformation you want to provide others for. And when you are not showing up, sharing your message, providing your soul gift services, you're holding back that from the world. You're holding back the massive change from the world that you came here to do. And I believe that we're being selfish when we do that, because we're holding back changing the world and other people's lives. And then you're not even getting compensated financially for it, and you don't get to live the lifestyle that you want, right? So when you sell, it's literally a win-win for everyone. It's a win for the client whose lives you're transforming, and it's a win for you getting what you want, and it's a win for all light workers on Earth, all working to help the ascension of Mother Earth. So for the love of selling, sell your heart out, get excited, and sell some more. So hope you enjoyed today's episode regarding selling. If you have questions about selling or you're not sure, I have lots of free trainings about it in the New Paradigm of Lightworkers Facebook group. Business Alchemy doors are opening. It's coming up pretty shortly in a couple of weeks. So Business Alchemy is the 6-month mastermind. It's super high level business transformations for soul aligned entrepreneurs, right? And so it's energetics meets spirituality meets mindset work meets business strategy. Because I straight up believe if you are a light worker here with a soul mission, you can't create a 6-figure business you love, because I do believe you can create a 6-figure business that you hate, that you resent, that drains you, right? Anybody can through pure force. But you can create a 6-figure business you love, you adore, that fulfills you, nourishes you, and excites you, and feels easy without connecting to your soul and getting guidance from spirit, without actually healing your blocks, money, visibility, unworthiness from this life and past lives. And it's funny, I had someone message me today and say, you know what, like, I know everything. Well, not everything, but like, I know what I need to do theoretically to be successful, but I'm not doing it. It's like there's something in me that's not doing it. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like, I know I have come across so many light workers who are like, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it. Here's the thing. If you are procrastinating or being, in finger brackets, lazy, which I don't believe, there is a block. There is something stopping you. Because if you really want that, like to be successful, to sell out your offerings, you're going to show up and do it. And if you're not able to take action and show up, it's usually because there is some sort of block that is stopping you from showing up, from selling, from receiving money. It might be visibility, it might be unworthiness, but there is a block there you need to clear. And so, this isn't just me giving you strategy, because I can give you all the strategies in the world. And if you have a block around visibility, you're not going to show up and sell it. If you have a block around money and worthiness and receiving, you're not going to show up and do the sales calls to actually work with high-end clients, right? So we actually have to do that inner work as well as part of it. And so that's kind of, that's the intention of Business Alchemy. We're creating a business that feels soul-aligned, flowy, heart-expanding, and brings you the income and abundance you're desiring. Because on one hand, I see clients who are like the person I spoke of before, who they know the theoretical aspect of it, and they're not showing up and doing it. Or they don't know the theoretical side of it, the strategy. They're only manifesting, healing, clearing their blocks. They've cleared every block that they can think of. They've healed themselves, but they're still not showing up and doing what it is they need to sell to earn income. So it's really important that we're addressing actually both, and living in alignment with spirit. I think that's really important, and that the strategy that we're using is soul aligned. I truly believe that the pathway to success is different for light leaders. We have to be listening to our souls. We have to be receiving channeled guidance. We have to be healing the wounds that we may have from the past. And so when we do this, we create this really holistic success, which is an extension of our soul. And that's what I believe to be possible for light leaders on earth at this moment. And that's going to bring you, doing that work, it's going to bring you way bigger than results than building a business funnel or doing a webinar. Of course you can do those things, but they're not going to be the thing that get you the success that you're after, right? They can help you, they can support you to get you there, but unless you've done the inner aligned work along with it, it's going to be a lot harder. So Business Alchemy, it's designed to get you to a place where you feel worthy, you feel confident, you feel aligned, and that the strategy that we're working with, right, I don't believe in cookie cut strategy. We're going to tune into what the unique strategy is for you. Then you're going to be excited to actually work with it, and you're going to see results because it's the right one for you. We're going to get you energetically aligned to actually your desired income and see, well, what are the blocks specifically to that financial amount? And of course, there are going to be modules and trainings where, we are going to be going into like manifesting, healing, selling, reprogramming your beliefs, having big launches, healing your money blocks, and like anything that you need to create a successful business. So it's going to be this really in-depth, powerful program. It isn't intensive. It's 6 months. It's group coaching calls. There's so much that you get out of it and so much access to me in there as well. So I know the people who sign up are going to be amazing, and it's going to be awesome. The friendships and connections that you make in there. It's one of my favorite things when I see my clients in programs and courses and masterminds, they become friends. I love that so much. So if that's you, if you know that, I need the next level of my business, I am soul aligned, I'm seeing some clients, but it's not it. Like, I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to hit the next level of my financial income. I need to shift through, clear my beliefs, like step into that next level. Not hard, like not the hard way. Then you'll find in the info of this podcast, there's a little info box. You will find a link to Business Alchemy. You can hop on a sales call with me. We can have a chat if you have any questions. And I'd love to see you there. I know it's going to be massive. I know it's going to be transformational. So I'm super excited. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, for listening to this podcast, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Light Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Athena Bailey. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed and left a review. Each month, I randomly pick someone who's left a review to win a one-on-one session with me. So if you'd like to win that, leave a review. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode of Light Leaders.